Is that it?
Are we live?
We are live. We're live. We're live.
Let me look at my Facebook. I don't until
We're
I
live.
see us on Facebook.
I have the manhood. It's like a 10-second lag, so they hear us. So I guess they can hear us.
Well, until I see it, I'm not giving none of the good stuff out. Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, because I don't know how many ladies are watching today, but
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Well,
if they were smart, they would be.
Here we are.
Hey,
yes.
hey, there we go.
We're live.
We're live now.
I don't see any pictures. I just see.
Yeah, I know, because I put that up there because I know you wanted. Bam, there it is, right there. We're on.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody out there that's listening. I don't know where you are, but we're here at the Manhood Tree Podcast once again, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. My name is Abdul Rahman Ben Muhammad. And, today I'm going to try something a little bit different with our introductions. We're going to allow Zoe to start us out.
Nice.
So what I would like you to do, Zoe,
okay,
rather than just tell me your name is Alonzo Beckett. Isn't your middle name Eugene?
It's
Lee. Lee, that's right. Okay. I was going to give you
talking about him. We're talking about Eugene.
Okay. So rather than just tell us your name, why don't you tell us, who are you? Like, according to you.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Is your camera on, by the way? Because I can't see you in this.
It's on. I see it. We're here. We're
all right. I just want to make sure you're straight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Who am I?
Who are you?
Well, my name is Alonzo Beckett.
Yeah.
I'm a father of an 18-year-old son.
Okay.
I have a wife and a husband of 19 years.
19 years. That's a long time.
19 years.
Yeah.
I'm a business owner.
Uh-huh.
I'm a health
health fanatic.
I'm
a health fanatic. Today he was having an argument with me about grapes not having seeds in them. So he didn't want to eat the grapes.
They gave us fake fruit at the spot.
Yeah.
I just want to point it out. I was like, that's not seeds in it.
I'm like, yo, we're eating fruit. And he's like, this is fake fruit.
Well, I'm a plant-based. I have a plant-based diet. I like to meditate, do a lot of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into bettering myself and being around people like-minded. My mind always races, so I always seem like I have to be doing something or talking to somebody or doing something.
Okay.
So I guess that's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So that's I guess that's me in a nutshell. I work. If I put my mind up to something, I always finish it. I'm just going to finish it. I'm either die or something's going to happen, but I'm going to finish it.
You're going to finish the task.
Right. So I'm very goal oriented.
Okay.
Very what's the other goal oriented and I'm very I have a workflow. What's another word for a routine?
A routine, yeah.
Routine,
I like it.
Things like that. So that's me.
You didn't say anything about your business.
I said I was a business owner.
Yeah, but you didn't say what that.
What do you do? You
I do videos.
No, I have a production company.
Okay.
We do some. We just ventured over. Now we're doing some ads as well. Some Facebook ads, lead generation ads.
Yeah.
Do a lot of that. Documentaries. Spoke to somebody today. That guy. We'll talk later about the guy with the whole new way of the having Dr. Premiere.
Yeah.
Because no one goes to the theater anymore for the theatrical releases.
Right.
It's more of not a live stream watch party. It's like a watch party.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole new type of advertising they do now.
Okay.
It's called and they do it through YouTube. YouTube has 1.2 billion users.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So they promote it through advertising through YouTube to get people to come and buy tickets. And I'm still learning, but So I'm trying to find a way around the distribution.
Off of the regular YouTube platform, or just
it's off the YouTube platform. So using their platform because there are people going there all the time to watch movies. And people want to watch movies,
right?
And not have to go to the Tubies and all those. Because on the Tubies you can actually pay price. You can pay $1,700 and they'll put it up there.
Mm-hmm.
See how it does, and then you can get revenue off of that.
Right.
So I'm just learning about the distribution game. We just sidetracked, but yeah. So that's documentaries, learn the distribution game, so we can put a lot of content.
I love it. All right, over to my left, we have for the first time on our show, Eugene Thomas. Eugene, yes. Who are you?
Who am I? That's it depends on when you ask.
Okay.
Because I'm constantly changing and evolving, growing.
Deep.
So, in a nutshell, father of three. I'm a father of three, husband. Been married 23 years now.
23. Oh, the senior. Yeah, that's the number. Yeah.
Time flies, right?
Yeah, it does.
Seems like only yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But business owner. I own a grooming business.
Okay.
So Supreme Clientele. Been in business since 2002.
Nice.
Here in Hartford. Grew up mostly. Well, I was born and raised in Hartford. I moved to Bloomfield when I was like 8.
Okay.
So I spent most of my young years in Bloomfield and growing up. So, and then I came back to Hartford, of course, after I graduated, and that's where I started my business in the community.
Yeah.
So I'm community oriented. I'm an activist, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
You know, I like following along those routes.
Yeah.
You know, because being in the barbershop business, part of what we do is community involvement.
That is true, 100%.
Right, and it's real dynamic when you are cutting your clients hair for 20 years, and then they bring their kids in, and you watch their kids grow up.
Wow, yeah.
And it's
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
we should be doing the manhood tree at the barbershop.
Yeah. So it's a real intricate link to the inner fibers of the community because you're watching the kids develop and you can see what they're into and kind of how the culture is shifting through the new generation.
Right.
Because like as adults, when we're in our age, we kind of get stuck where we are. You know what I'm saying? Our day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says all the time, back in the day, back in my time.
Yes, of course.
But we lose sight of the new generation. So I have the unique perspective of my job to being able to be indoctrinated into the youth as they come up. And it's an exchange. Okay?
Right.
So from them, I get the new information. And from me, they get the old information. So when younger people hang around older people, they become faster around the young kids because they're getting advanced knowledge from the older people.
Right.
And when older people hang around younger people, we get updated on the new information that's coming in. So that makes us
You
faster.
stay hip. You stay in the know of what's going on. Because I feel like right now, I'm out of the know.
Yeah, sometimes me too. As I'm working with stuff and like especially when I'm on my phone and stuff, and I'll be trying to do something. My daughters be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
You don't know how to work that like that. You old man guy.
Right.
Come on, what you talking about?
Let me ask you this: as a barber,
yes,
what is it like keeping up on all of the different hairstyles? Like going through those different trends. Like if you think about you've been doing it 20 some odd years. Yeah. You've seen it all at this point.
Yeah. So I'm a student of the game. Like one of my biggest attributes is personal development.
Okay.
I love to stay learning.
Right.
So I'm always going to conferences, barber conferences.
Okay.
I'm always going to events. I'm always going to classes to keep my skills updated, to keep my products updated.
He's dropping some gems, guys. Yeah. I hope you're listening to this part. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of who Eugene is. I'm constantly evolving.
Right.
Like personal development is like my biggest thing.
Nice.
Like I don't like to stay stagnant. I like to keep advancing, moving, and and the information that I get, I love. Again, my platform as a barber because it gives me a transformation or energy transformation. Because the information I get to pass it on to my clients, my other business colleagues, and like I said, the young kids.
Right.
So it's a wonderful thing.
Awesome. You get like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you could change somebody's life. Like every time they come in that chair. It's like a session.
Right.
You know, like I'm a social worker, so that's like.
Well, a lot of them call me their therapist.
Yeah,
you think I'm coming for a haircut, man, but I'm actually coming for my therapy session. I'm like, well, the price of haircuts is going up. If I'm your image consultant and your therapist, that's double duty.
Double duty.
But no, it works both ways because as I go through therapy with them and working, because they feel comfortable talking about their problem situation. Yes. And we all kind of similarly have the same issues that we're dealing with.
Maybe I should send some of the people that wrap up the Manhood Tree group to you. I give because I shouldn't probably say this online. I don't really like doing therapy. But, maybe I could say, hey, you know what? I'll do the group and then go over to Eugene. You can get a sweet haircut and maybe some other services. And also he'll listen to you because I don't have time to listen to you.
I do like that.
No, it's a powerful thing. I like what you said. I'm a therapist and an image consultant.
Yeah, 100%. I'm probably throwing you off.
No. I'm about to introduce you. So let me introduce you, and then you can tell us what you like. Okay. Over to my right, we have Berthel Johnson. Berthel. Oh yes, give him a round of applause. He
We're not ready.
knows about
We're not ready yet. We're not ready for this applause yet.
Berthel, who are you? Tell us what you liked first about what he said, and then tell us who you are.
I'll get back to that when I tell you what that was.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Fair?
Cool.
I am a business owner first, a husband 2nd, and a father, then friend to many, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
Who I am, or it's all about my family. I stand for my family. I do a lot of things, and everything is for my family. Business owner of 3 different businesses. I own a construction company.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's funny how that starts, but that's another story how I started that.
Yeah.
That would start out in necessity because I needed to minimize costs into my fix and flip business.
Right. Fix and flip.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So that transcended into me hiring guys, and now do contracts in Hartford and Springfield with the towns and city.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now, outside of that, I buy homes. I'm an investor, more so. Dubbed by you community investor.
Community investor. Yes.
I mean, anything.
That's what I called you on the flyer. He's going to run with that, so. He's running with that now. He's a community investor.
Yeah, I mean, I think really, and all of that stuff, and I know
it sounds good, right?
Yeah, everyone wants to hear all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my brand. Okay, all right, so we can talk about that later on, right?
Yeah.
But what really, does it for me is what I do for people in the city,
right?
And that's providing a home for a lot of these people,
right?
Or helping them acquire homes that, like a friend of mine, I said to him, last year I'm going to reckon there's probably 22 different real estate transactions, right? 18 back and forth, so we'll just 22, and that's big.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a lot.
And I said to him, and he said to me, you do know that people who look like you even buy one house here.
That's true.
And a lot of these, sell them, that's what we're doing. That's business, right?
That's the game.
Right?
Yeah.
And it said a lot of stuff to me, and then just reinforced that who I am is providing homes for people.
Right.
And it doesn't matter pink, purple, whatever, because everyone deserves a home.
Everybody needs a home.
Yeah.
Buy a home from Berthel if you get a shot. What did you like about what he said? Do you remember that part?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So growing up, though, in the city, right? Yeah. Just wherever you are. I don't care where you are. The barbershop as a male.
Right.
What? The barbershop was the place. So for you to be able to... Culture. I've done that, right? And then... Because obviously, and I love your energies, there's just that very calming energy there, So if you're using that, and you're also bringing wisdom to people, that's beautiful, man.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. So you're gonna do the thing for me. Do it for me, so I can tell the people
who. You told us your name, but we'll ask again. Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Well,
since you asked,
yes. I see myself as I think I'm a father. I'm a husband. I am a dream chaser. Yes. I feel like I got to get out and make my dreams become reality. I am an entrepreneur. I try to be. I don't think I'm a community activist, but I like to be like a person who's out in the community doing stuff. Yeah. So I may not get out and be like, free the black people. I may not do that, but I'll get out and do my own thing. I used to have my ice cream truck, and I'll be on the ice cream truck. Ice cream for a dream. I'm gonna do something out there with the people. So I feel like as much as I don't want to do something, I feel like I have to do it. So for a certain amount of time, I'm gonna figure out a way to be involved in our community one way or another. It's just how it's it's in my DNA. What else am I? I feel like I like to call myself an idea guy. I always have ideas. I like what you said about personal development. Yeah. I'm constantly listening to somebody. I was going to ask you who your favorite motivational speaker or person you like to read or listen to was.
I have a few of them. Jim Rohn.
That was my number one guy. I like him because of his accent. The way he talks.
But he breaks it down so simplistic. And it's like makes so much sense.
I love that guy.
Les Brown, of course.
Yeah.
Eric Thomas.
No, I remember Rick Thomas.
Eric Thomas.
Oh, Eric Thomas. Oh, E.T. Oh, everybody knows
E.T.
I've been on the stage with E.T.
I got a clip when you was
got a
talking
clip?
about He's like, damn, so you look young. I said, thank you.
Alan Watts,
Alan Watts. So Alan Watts. Sometimes when we start talking about all this motivational stuff, I feel like you need to start with Alan Watts.
Yes.
It's like even though you got Jim Rohn and all, those are like but if you want to get real deep with it,
philosophy,
you got to start with Alan Watts. Yeah. He has this thing called what the question is, what makes you what's the last word? It's basically asking you, what do you really want to do with your life?
Yeah.
And then he goes on this rant about, basically go do that.
Go do that.
All the rest of the stuff doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's like you want to be, you want to ride horses, whatever you want to do.
What motivates you and
right.
do that.
And because at the end of the day, it's gonna become something.
Yes.
And so you just gotta go do it. And I think that, like I said, today's show we were gonna talk about entrepreneurship because we always have entrepreneurs on the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about something else. But I would what makes you itch. That's the name of it.
Okay.
So if you ever want to hear a good video,
what
makes you itch is a good video. But one of the things I want to ask everybody before we get into our other topic, what made you get on the entrepreneurship journey? Like, how did you decide that rather than going to work a job for someone, you were going to start your own business?
Well, for me, it was out of necessity.
Okay.
Right. So in the barbering business, my grandfather was a barber.
Okay.
He cut hair in the Navy. Yeah. So I've always had clippers around.
Right.
Right, when we grew up in the hip hop era, when hip hop was at its finest, and that's when the flat top phase was out.
Yes,
right, with all the parts in your hair, and people break dancing, and just the height of our culture. So going to high school, if you wasn't up to par,
right,
going to the cafeteria was brutal.
Tough.
Right? You don't want to go to the cafeteria if you wasn't on point that day,
right?
Because you'll be the laughing stock of the whole day, right? So we usually got haircuts by a guy in our neighborhood used to cut our hair. And one day he goes, I'm not cutting hair anymore. I'm like, well, I can't go to school on Monday without a fresh haircut. Like, this is not going to be good.
Right.
Right? So I go home, and there's clippers, because my grandfather was a barber, so there's always equipment around the house. And I used to pick them up, and I'm like, let me see something, right? So I go to the mirror, and I start trimming myself up. And I'm like, oh, well, this ain't that bad. I could do this. Because, I was always watching the barber when he was cutting our hair and cutting anybody else's hair. Because we're like the neighborhood barber. So we'd be in his room. And, we'd be conversating. I'm just watching. I'm like, it doesn't look that difficult. So when I went home and tried it for myself, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I go to school the next day. Everybody's like, well, damn, who cut your hair? Because, the guy in the neighborhood said he wasn't cutting our hair. So everybody in our neighborhood came to school on Monday without a haircut.
No haircut. You don't leave
right. So when I show up with a haircut, they're like, yo, who did that?
Right.
I'm like, I did it. Like, yo, quit playing. You don't know how to cut hair.
Yeah.
You don't know how to cut hair. So that was my introduction to barbering. But entrepreneurship kind of like always been in my blood.
Yeah.
Right? So growing up, my mother, single mother of three. So, money wasn't flowing in our. So, and I was too young to get a job. So in order for me to be with my friends, because every time we go out, we're going to the corner store, and I didn't like being there without money because you couldn't get nothing. Going to McDonald's after and stuff. So my first business was lawn care.
Okay.
So
so how old were you? This is you getting into the game early.
Yeah, and I'm like 13.
Okay.
I can't get a job.
Right.
I understand I need money, and mom's like, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
So she's like, you could get out there and get it yourself.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? So I lived with my grandmother. So I was in charge of cutting the grass. And she would say, okay, boy, we'll go over there and cut Miss So-and-so grass. And I'll go over and cut Miss So-and-so grass. Miss So-and-so will give me $5. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then I started realizing that on our street, all of the older women didn't have people to cut their grass.
Right.
So I started cutting everybody on the neighborhood's grass.
Nice.
So I started that. And then I got on my paper route. So it's like, okay, now I'm understanding money, or so to speak, on how to get it or acquire it. And then that's when I went from there into cutting hair. So then when I started cutting hair, I started cutting all the kids in the neighborhood. And then that's just where it all started. And now
so you never had a job?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay, so I've always cut hair. I've always been like self-sufficient. But when I was old enough to get a job, because in our culture, that's what you're told.
Right.
Go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job.
Yes.
So I did that.
So this is an important conversation.
Yeah. So, I did that. I worked at New Britain General.
Okay.
Right. So I figured I was going to get into the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working there as a radiology tech. And my manager at the time, he took a liking to me. And I was always good at my work. Being an entrepreneur, of course, you got to be super proficient in yourself.
Right.
So when I was there, I used the same attitude as being an entrepreneur into my job.
Right.
So, of course, I excelled around everybody else who was just coming in thinking this was just
punching the clock.
Right. So my manager took a liking to me. He was like, okay, we got this program coming up where you could get licensed through the hospital, but you have to go to school for yourself to pay for it, to become a radiology tech.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm still cutting hair on the side. So he got transferred to another hospital, and then the other guy came in, didn't look like us. So my manager at the time looked like us. Right. So he was like, okay, there's a lot of people looking for this opportunity, but I'm going to give it to you. One, because I like you, I like your energy, I like your spirit, and two, because we look alike. Right. So when he got transferred out, and the new guy came in who didn't look like us, he was like, that position that so-and-so set up for you? He's like, no, I'm going to give it to somebody else.
Oh, man.
So I was like,
that's
okay.
Messed up.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? All right. So after that, the whole energy of the hospital changed. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be here no more. Yeah. So I left. And I was still cutting hair. So I'm like, okay. So one of my friends cooked. I like cooking as well. Okay. So I went into cooking. I was working in the kitchen with a friend of mine. Yeah. And still cutting hair on the side. So I used to always look like on a good Friday and Saturday, just cutting hair, versus my paycheck getting paid hourly, right? It became very apparent to me early that profits are better than wages.
That's right.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So I was working in the kitchen as a chef. Well, not a chef, but a prep cook.
Sous chef.
Sous chef.
Sous chef. Sounds like that.
Yeah. Sous chef. But I always wanted to cook because I like culinary. So I was like, okay, well, I could do this for a while because, it seems like it's a pretty good job. I can get pretty good money from it. And then that's when I had the word that I was having my first child. I'm like 22 now. Right. Right? Yeah. So, working there in my little barbershop thing on the side was good, being single.
So when you say on the side, you were still cutting at your house or something like that?
Yeah. I was still cutting. I converted my basement into my barbershop. Okay, yep. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cutting all the kids in the neighborhood. I'm cutting the kids from school. I'm even cutting some of the teachers, the security guards. Nice. At this point, I'm full-fledged into this. You're official. Yeah.
Did you have your license at this time?
No, I did not. Okay, yeah. Did not. No, I'm still in high school at this time.
Right? Okay.
So I'm like 18, 19, just graduating high school.
Right.
So once my girlfriend at the time told me that she was pregnant about to have children, I was like, okay, now things are getting real. My brother-in-law, who owns this a G thing. Yes. Right. He's married to my sister. Oh. So he was
that's a whole other barber.
Yeah, okay. That's another barber. So he used to always come to the house and always see all this traffic coming.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump in real quick because when you were talking, I was saying like you've done some like pretty, I think, official stuff as a barber. Like you used to have your spot in the mall, and then so now you say your brother-in-law is the G thing. Yeah. He did some major stuff too. So you guys are kind of like swapping ideas out. Right. Just throw that out. Yeah. It's like who you be around sometimes. So
you're only going to aspire as much as the 5 people that you talk to the most. Wow. Right. So
are you guys taking notes today? I don't know. get your paper out. Go ahead, keep going.
So he used to always notice the traffic coming in and out, because he opened the certificate thing. So he went on to Morehouse to get his degree in psychology. But the guy at the barbershop wouldn't hold his chair for him while he was at school. Right. So this was my first introduction into the barbershop. Okay. So he was like, okay, when I'm in school, I'm going to need you to take my chair. Hold it for me. Right. And then when I come home during breaks and time off, then I'll work back. And so that was cool. Yeah. So once I got into the official barbershop world, I started really seeing the money that could be generated as a barber career if you really focus and take this seriously. Right. I was like, okay, that was a game changer. That was my third lesson into economics and finances.
Right.
Right. So working as an independent barber, cash business, it seemed like we got paid daily. Because you could come in and make $200-300 a day.
Yeah.
Versus working a whole week and getting $300 at the end of the paycheck.
Like, you had the cash, and it was mostly cash
in hand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, the math started mathing.
I like that cash.
Yeah. So then after he graduated from Morehouse, he came up with the idea to open this Sajid thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in '95, the year that my daughter was born. And I was like, okay, now that I have a dependent, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how does being a father and having a dependent work?
Right.
Because like I said, my mother was a single parent, so I really didn't have that example of a father figure on how to be a man in the system,
right.
how to support a family, how to take care of family.
Right.
What does that look like?
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of like trying to figure this out on my own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when we opened up this G thing, that gave me. So he was kind of like a male role model, a figure that helped usher me into my adulthood. Because at this time I'm 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
He's a few years older than me, and and that's what our first year there. Well, actually, our first 6 months there, we opened up. And he introduced me to the business aspect of cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
So the shop that he was working in was my first mentor, like Bob, who taught me the skill set and the skill set of cutting hair and the what's the word I'm looking for? The customer service aspect of it. Right. How to greet customers, how to treat customers,
Mm-hmm.
how to deal with customers, and the skill set. So when G and I opened this G thing,
mm-hmm.
he taught me the business aspect of it.
Right.
So the information that I got from those two is how I launched off to my own, because after a while I had started coming up with my own ideas on how I want to structure and represent myself in my business. Right. And that's when we branched off.
It's amazing.
And started my own.
So Berthel, we're going to ask you the same thing, and I'll come back to you, Zoe.
Mine's quick. It's just a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Mine's just a miracle. No, that's good.
God put his hand down and said, "You will make videos."
Shazam!
Berthel, how did you get started? What made you get into entrepreneurship? I know you worked some business. I know you had some.
Yeah,
jobs.
I mean, this is it's a whole movie.
It's a movie. We're doing a movie.
You do movie.
We'll do the movie. You know what? Give us 50,000, and then we'll
write the script.
We'll do the script. AI will write the script. Our friend, you get 50%.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, up until 6 years ago, really, I mean, I've always been in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
Up until 6 years ago, I was working in the corporate. The last two of my stint, and I say stint for a reason, and we'll go to that shortly. I was running, it was 9 years and 7 months, and I was running a subsidiary of the UFC, their production arm.
Right.
So before then, I was helping a subsidiary of People's Bank running their finance department. So I was always in finance, and then, like I said, 6 years ago happened. It was just one of those things where you're making good money,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And it's just it's killing you.
Mm-hmm.
I see my kids growing up, and I'm stressed.
Mm-hmm.
So and I always had and everything started with real estate, because I always had property. That was always right.
Yeah.
And that was always my go-to. So I wanted to, even in a corporate world, I was going to get as much money as I can, liquid cash, and just do
buy more
some of
real
the stuff
estate
that we talked about, right? Because that's the best way for us to be able to generate wealth.
You guys heard that?
Yes.
So when you say we could generate wealth through buying real estate, right? That's what you're saying?
Correct.
All right, I just want to double down.
80% of self-made millionaires did so through real estate.
There goes another stat for you. 80%. So if you guys out there going to buy your Lamborghini, I think that's the answer.
Not the answer.
It's not the answer, guys. Buy real estate.
But so I always had that. But 6 years ago, and I just decided to. It just makes sense.
No, but tell me, because he went a little deeper. Tell me about the day when you were like, "Yo, I'm leaving the UFC. I'm done."
So
what happened?
All right. So the day was okay. The day was when I realized that it doesn't matter what I did, because of who I was, I wouldn't mean shit, and I mean that.
Yep. You mean no matter what you did at the UFC,
at this specific location,
we don't want to. At the job, we don't want to whatever.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
No matter what you did, you were never going to be somebody who you felt you should be in their organization.
No, absolutely not.
That's deep.
Absolutely not.
And so you had a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. You looked in the mirror and said,
you
were sweating a little bit, and you were looking in the mirror.
You should dramatize it real
quick.
I know.
I can't take this anymore.
5:30.
They're not gonna let me do it.
It's a lot more dramatic than that. It's
more than that.
You know, and again, like there's a gentleman that said something I thought was very important on your podcast. He said, "Let's not." The gentleman right there on the wall there.
Oh, Demetrius.
Yes.
It's always Demetrius.
It's always Demetrius. Demetrius, are you watching?
It's always you.
Not verbatim, but paraphrasing, and he's like, let's not sleep on our job because again, that
job, that's our favorite one.
Oh yeah. Stop playing.
Stop
playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That job honestly was the catalyst for everything that I was the knowledge, everything, right? And this is why I started by saying I'm a business, because that kind of owned in my business attributes, right? But for me, realizing that because of I wouldn't.
You had more in you though. That's
100%.
Yeah. So I can really. I'm gonna jump ahead of you since yours is so quick. I'm gonna jump ahead of you. So because that's the same thing that I felt when I had my job. I was working at an organization, and I'm a social worker, so I was working at an organization, and I was a young social worker. I was like eager, like I wanted to get into everything, and I always saw I never really saw myself as a social worker. I saw myself as more like a supervisor. Like a leader, I should be like a vice president, And keep in mind, my father, he was the senior vice president at the organization I worked at, and so I used to see myself well, I'm a younger version of him. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember I went for a job. I went for the vice president job. I had been working, I did 5 years. I had my master's degree for 5 years, so I figured that's enough time. And so I went to go get the job, and I was meeting with the CEO, and halfway through the interview, I realized the only so different from you, he met with me because I was the son of my father. Right? But the thing that I realized is that even my father was never gonna be like the CEO of that place. Like they weren't gonna never let that happen. And so there's a when you work for somebody else, there's a ceiling. Yeah, there's a certain level they're gonna let you go. And so they met with me, but they weren't ever gonna they didn't think I was ready. That was basically what the end of the conversation was like, well, you only been a social worker for 5 years, you're not ready. And from that meeting, I put in my mind, and this was a year before I left. I put in my mind I am ready. How's he gonna tell me that I'm not ready? And so I started just thinking about, what can I do that I could just do on my own. I don't need nobody to give me a not a pat on the back, but to say this guy's good. I don't need anybody to give me.
Nobody to give you your validation.
No validation. So I was like, what can I do with no help, nobody, no. If it's just me every day, I'm gonna do that, right? And then at the end of the year, I was like, I'm gonna quit the job, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna quit the job because I was married too, and my wife was pregnant. But so what happened was this guy hit me up out of the blue, and he was like, yo, I have my organization. I hear you're trying to do some stuff, and I think you and I could work together. And he was like, yo, we would be a dynamic duo. And I was like, yeah. So he was like, I got this big meeting coming up with the insurance companies, and I'd like you to come with me to this meeting. And so I was like, yo, I didn't even have a suit at the time. I went out and bought a suit for the meeting. I was like, yo, we going to this meeting. Something big is going to happen. I was like, yo, it's crazy because he called me when I was at a very low point. I was like, I wanted to do something, but so, okay, I go to the meeting. And when we walked in the meeting, me and him were partners. We were both talking about what's going to go. And in the meeting, they were talking about certain things. And when I came out the meeting, we were standing in the parking lot talking, and he was like, yo, so based on that meeting, you know, since you don't have your LCSW yet, and I have my LCSW, you're going to have to kind of work for me until you get your LCSW. So we went from being partners till now he wanted me to work for him. And I was like,
how does that work?
Now, this is the craziest thing. I've never seen that guy again since that day.
Yeah.
In 20 years, I've been in business 20 years. I've never seen him again.
You gotta find him. I wonder.
No, I know where he is, but I've never seen him again.
Yeah.
Like, I've never crossed paths with him ever again in the world. Like, I can see him on the internet.
No, does he still do the same thing or no?
He still does the same. He does exactly what happened at that meeting. It wasn't as big as my people, but right. he does right. But so it's like, okay, you know, they always say people come into your life for a reason, season, or lifetime. Yep. So boom, after that meeting, I was like, okay, I'm about to do my own thing. I'm gonna do like my whole thing is fatherhood. That's one of my biggest things. So I created my little brochure on my computer, and I started going to all these meetings with my brochure. And what happened was I had been doing like some work with another guy. I'm not gonna say nobody's names, right? I was doing work with this other guy in the community, and he was like, yo, Abdul, I have a job for you. And he was gonna pay me the same amount of money that I was making at my other job, but I only had to work like 3 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
So it was a great opportunity because
freed up your
he
time.
said he gave me time. It was the most important thing is time when you're trying to start a business. Yes, and I didn't have to worry about the money because I was making the same amount. Yeah. And so he was like, but it's only 6 months. So I was like, but I'm young at this time. So I'm like, yo, I'll take 6 months where I could go after what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So it ended up being like 4 months. Oh. But at the end of the 4 months, I had started the business, things were rolling, and I had an epiphany. Because like I was into fatherhood, but the thing is that nobody else was into fatherhood. Yeah. 20 years ago, fatherhood was like, who cares about the fathers, right? That's how people were talking about fatherhood. But one day I was talking to a DCF worker, and he said, man, you love this fatherhood stuff. Too bad you don't do mentoring. And I'm like one of those people, like at the time I was so like on fire. When he said that, his whole body lit up. Like I could see him like with light all around his body. You don't want that. And so basically I was like, this is a sign. Yeah. And so I went home, I made a new brochure about mentoring. So long story short, I started my business in March 2005. By December, I had 100 staff. Wow. I had 100 staff in December because I was just hiring everybody in the community. Yeah. I hired anybody could get a job at my view in 2005. Too bad it's not 2005. So the thing is that when this is for everybody listening. If you get the feeling that you have something, yes, that is more than what somebody else can see, you got to go ahead and go with what you believe in yourself. Yes. Instead of what everybody else, because everybody else will tell you some bull crap.
Just take it safe. Play it safe.
Play it safe. Mm-hmm. Don't do it. You got a kid coming. Yeah. You got to shoot your shot. Okay, so what about you? What was your?
Well, I remember.
You remember that?
I was in the track house. No, I was in the track house. Yes. And
I remember that too.
Any video in 03, I used to go. I didn't have a job. Mm-hmm. I worked at ESPN.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I hated it so much. Everyone was so happy for me to be at ESPN. I was doing highlights, and it's like slave work. And I hated it so much. Yeah. So one day, like I just got up and told them I quit. And they didn't even care. Right. They didn't even like, hey, stop. They was like,
we'll get another one.
Thanks. I was like, all right, thanks, man.
There's 10 more in the hallway.
They were. When I left, there was a bunch of people walking to come back in. I'm like, man. So I left, but I had got a wedding. And the wedding, the lady paid me to do the wedding, paid me as much for that one wedding as ESPN paid me for a whole month. Yeah. For one wedding. So I was like, Yeah. So then I didn't have a job. I used to work at Channel 30, like on part-time, but doing videos here and there, like trying to figure it out. Then I didn't have a job. Mm-hmm. Then my wife had now supported me for like the first I'll say 3-4 years. I used to go every day to the track house with Vaughn. Yeah. I used to drink Monsters and a donut every morning because I didn't have too much.
The breakfast of champions.
Like it was just crazy. Right. But I would go every day. I did the street DVDs. Yep. didn't charge anybody. Used to put everybody on the street DVDs, and then I would sell the street DVDs later.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I get money. So I made like 20 of them just try because that was how I used to get money.
That was your hustle, yeah.
Did that, and I guess me turned into a business because I realized that like doing the calculations about how I wanted to live and stuff like. Oh, I got to be a basketball player or something. That's what I wanted. It's like this regular job. I'm constantly what I hated. What I used to do. I don't do anymore. But I used to all the time. I would take my checks and I have to add it up and subtract things. How much money I can spend. And I used to hate that.
Budget.
And I hated that life. I hated like counting the check and then like subtracting the bills and the cell bill and this bill and that bill. I'm like, oh, I got $108
right for 2 weeks.
Right. So and I went to college.
Right.
So I'm like, why is this like this?
Right.
And I'm working. I got a degree.
Yeah.
And they're not paying me nothing, and I still got to pay them back some money.
Got to pay them back.
What this is? So I was like, if I was thinking, all right, and I love the editing part of it in college. So I figured, I always thought if I do this every day, I tell people if I do this every day, no one else is doing this every day.
Every day.
Because I like to do it. So I'm going to do it every day.
What is that, 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
Right, it's 10,000 hours.
We talk about the 10,000.
That's 5 years and 2 months if you work 40 hours a day. So after 5 years, so they're master at my people. They're master.
Right.
We paid them $200,000 about this, $20 an hour.
Right.
To do that. But they have nothing for themselves.
Right.
So I used to think people get fired all the time and just get let go and have nothing left.
No security.
No security. So I figured if I used to work for you.
Yeah.
And like I used to when I was here, I used this job to help me propel me to do what I need to do, to buy my stuff and do it. And it got to the point where I didn't even know I could leave. Like
I told you to leave?
Right. He was like, you don't need. I didn't look at it like I could leave. I didn't know I didn't have to stay here.
Right.
Because I was just used to getting up and coming here. I didn't have to.
Right.
And then that.
No, so you got to take it back because the first conversation was, just come, take the 6 to 2 shift. Yeah. And it's not that much going on, and you could be able to edit. You could still edit 6 to 2. The second conversation a couple years later was, you're getting more business. Why do you need the 6 to 2 shift anymore? Go forget about working here because now I need you to do because now I'm like, I need you to actually do work. and so it's like if this is not like the way we thought it was gonna be, and it's a little bit more difficult, and you already got the stuff you got the skills, you got the jobs, the more you out there in the world, the more money you could get. And now that's why that's been 2 years, 3 years now too.
About 3 years. But again, it's the fear of, it's not even the money thing.
The comfort zone.
It's like security.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it.
The false sense of security.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you said, they could fire you at any moment.
Right. So it's like, and then you have to figure out things, insurance and other means of getting things. But then once you figure out, and I think every journey, even going back to the beginning when I said all those things about adding stuff, sounds crazy, but I kind of miss some of those times. Right?
What you miss?
The
grind?
Some of it. Some of it because I was like, man, I used to. And I still do it now, but different.
Right.
But I remember I was like, and I see other people when they say man, this is hard. I'm like, man, hard.
You don't know about hard.
And now you understand when you get older, you hear older people. Yeah. When you say something about something, their response will be like yours is now. Yeah. Like, man, I went through all this, and you talking about you gotta get up early. You know what I mean? So
these kids today,
you understand how by not even by having a plan, so to speak, how you came across being a barber. You were just very and you wanted to know about things. You you weren't
inquisitive.
You wanted to know and if you do that in life, period. Yes. Something will come out of it. Something will come out. You'll be like, oh, I like anime all of a sudden.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When we would start the conversation talking about what Alan Watts was talking about. Yeah. Find what you like to do. Right. And do that. Yeah. Because if you're interested in it, there's thousands of people that are interested in it. And if you take the 100 to 1,000 hours and dedicate your time to doing it, you will become an expert in it.
That's
people
exactly
will pay
what he
you
said.
for your expertise.
That's exactly what he said. And so even this podcast, I love to talk. I don't know if you guys can figure that out yet. No, I love it. I can do this all day, every day. But we only get to do it once a week. If I can get Zoe to come over here more, I'll have 5 podcasts. This is what I like to do. I got tons of topics. We forgot to do our meditation minute. So we used to do every week. We'd have our guests open up with a meditation. But what we decided to do, we wanted to use our Dream Chaser Day. And so I'm going to give you guys each of you half the deck. And you could take as many as you feel like you need and then tell us what you feel about it.
Look at them or
Yeah, you can look at them. You can look at them before you choose. It doesn't have to be random.
Let's go with the energy of that.
And then like put it on the camera so that people can see it. Give me one over there. Let me see what we got.
No, this is perfect.
no
So who's going
jealousy,
first?
no envy. Appreciate others' success.
Boom. What's your thought on that?
It's 100% correct. Right? We have to learn to not be in competition. We need more cooperation. Because the only way we're going to work is collectively. Like on this entrepreneur journey, at first I started off young and vigor,
Right.
thinking I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna conquer the world. I'm an independent businessman. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But then the grind and what's the saying? You learn to work smarter, not harder.
Of course.
And the way of working smarter is by
Getting
these
more
networks,
people. Yeah.
right? Your network, your support system,
Mm-hmm.
people that you could talk to that have like minds. Because life will beat you down.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't have those people to inspire you to keep you going,
Mm-hmm.
it'll weigh on you. So no jealousy, no envy. Appreciate others' success, because if you appreciate someone else's success,
Mm-hmm.
that will in turn show you how to deal with your own success
That's right.
through
I like
others.
it.
And
I like
it's a beautiful thing.
What you got, Bertel?
I mean, just piggyback on that and say this out loud in the mirror. I love you. So you is in loving yourself.
Yes.
And piggybacking on what the gentleman just said. I mean, that's so important
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of goes back to one of our first earlier podcasts. Because you have to love yourself to put yourself through pain.
That's
Yes.
right.
You have to love yourself. Like there are times, and again, in this journey. When I say this, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone is going to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's harder than
Because you have to pivot. I remember specifically right before COVID and all the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have so much stuff in there. We're in housing,
Right.
And
People lost a lot of money in COVID.
Fortunately enough for me, we were good because we bought it so low.
That money dropped.
Yeah. But then you have to be able to assess,
Yes.
your arena, and that your plan doesn't go that way. You have to be able to, okay, I'm gonna move into a different direction
On the fly.
Yeah, exactly. So put yourself to that one company, two company, whatever that is, and then employees and dealing with these different personalities and making sure that everyone and always have to be this problem solver.
Right.
To put yourself through that craziness. And day in, day out, because no vacations. Even when you're on vacation, there's no vacation.
Somebody got called. They better not call me, but guy, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
So put yourself through that.
Yeah.
You gotta love yourself.
You gotta love
yourself, knowing that you're valued more.
Yes.
You're worth more. And for me, that's what it is. And to be able to create something for my kids, my family.
Right.
So what you got? You got one?
I saw yours already. You gotta go.
Oh,
Be positive.
how did you see it?
Because you put it on the screen and it came up.
Be positive, give positivity, get positive. So this is it. It's just simple, right? If you're positive is gonna come to you.
Yes.
It's just how it works.
Law
You
of
walk
attraction.
around law of attraction. So if you just go out being positive, more than likely you're gonna get positive, and then you can get you can give it out back again. It's like a continuum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go out, be positive. I'm gonna get it, and then I'm gonna give it back out every time. Keep it moving. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
What you got, Joe?
Bam. Gotta.
Bam.
See that? Don't allow anyone to steal your joy.
Don't let them steal it. That's right.
Like, what does it mean to me? I mean, if something makes me happy,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel good about it,
Yes.
I'm just different, I guess. I don't care if you like it or not.
It ain't for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
And my cousin, she, I already says she, but I got a lot of girl cousins. But she called me. She texted me and she was asking me, saying something about, what do you do when someone is around you that's like bad for you, but they're like, you're really cool with them,
Right.
and they just bad for you.
Get out of there.
Right. So in my head, I'm thinking, what do you mean? What do you do?
You gotta get out of there.
Right, but she's different. She's more of a, I guess, I don't know.
She
not
likes
like,
the pain.
right. So if you put it bluntly, it's like you must like
You
that person
enjoy
doing that all
the
the time.
pain. Yeah.
I said you leave them,
Right.
and what you do is just give them like for me, I put people in situations where like they make the decision for themselves.
Yeah.
Like they do something like, I'm going to be over here. You can come. They won't come because they don't want to be over there. So
Right.
then I will never kind of see them again.
Right.
So you got to put them in situations where they feel uncomfortable.
To eliminate themselves.
Yeah, if it brings you joy,
right,
and they don't want to be around you, then you probably shouldn't be around that person.
Right.
So you shouldn't let anyone steal your joy because you want somebody that's going to support you.
Yeah.
You want somebody that's going to tear you down.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to make our transition from talking about entrepreneurship and who we are and all that stuff to the main topic tonight. The main topic tonight is marriage. And somebody, so we're going to start off kind of like, I feel like these first few questions are easy, and then we'll build up because I really want, on my last 3 questions, so my first 3 questions, you don't have to really go that deep if you don't want to.
Fair enough.
But my last 3 questions, I want you to go ahead and really think about your responses because somebody's going to be going through. Now, how long you been married?
14 years.
14 years, 19 years.
18 years.
18 years, 23 years, 20 years, right? So we got a lot of years. And so there's somebody who's in year 1 right now. And so when we get to that question about the first year, I want you to kind of tell some stuff about yourselves. That some ways that so we can show the growth. But let's start off. So I just asked the first question actually, how long have you been married? So let's skip that one. All right. Tell me when you decided you were gonna get married though. And I want you to think back, right? You're a young guy. All you guys were young at that time. No gray hair. You ain't got no gray hair right now. But you're a barber, so that could be a trick. That could be a trick. But what was it like? What was it like? What was going through your mind? What did you do? How did you make that decision? Like, this woman is the woman for me.
I mean,
Is your camera right?
I got to put a new camera on.
Okay.
I think my phone died, so I had to change the camera.
Okay.
Oh, so how do I know? How did I know?
You want to start?
Oh, sure. How did I know? Honestly, I didn't know until I did, I guess. Like, I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I kind of, like, as we got to know each other more, I realized I made a good decision.
So you got married.
I got married because I thought it was good, then it wasn't. Then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned out she was who I thought she was.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have, because when you probably go to the part when you first.
That first year?
First year. So your first year, you're young. Like, we're in our 20s, like 23, 24.
Yeah, that's
like
pretty
40,
young.
Yeah, I'm 40, whatever. So everyone's talking about this person is that and this person is that. No one really knows, it's, rumors and all these things about this person.
Right.
So you can believe them or not. So you go through the first year of not knowing, like, man, I heard doom, whatever. But as time passes, you realize, I'm glad I didn't listen to them people.
Right.
She's who I thought she was.
Yeah.
And has been ever since. So that was, beginning of it was hard because of outside people.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, and they tell you that when you get married, let the wife, but it really is because people be out to get you for whatever reason.
Right.
So so when I met her, how did I know it was her? I just knew. I don't know. It was different.
Mm-hmm.
It felt different.
Yeah.
Something I haven't felt it again. Right.
Good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's like it was something different.
Uh-huh.
I like the way I feel around her. Like a lot of the boxes were checked that weren't prior.
Yeah. And you said you were 20 what when you got married?
No, I got married. I was 24. She was 23.
24. Okay. You're 44?
I'm 48.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you're closer to 50.
Yeah, I'm not 50 though.
Yeah. All right. What about you? How did you know she was the one?
I mean, there's many ways. I mean, I won't go there, but everything actually drew me to her. I mean, where I was in life, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say this the greatest space.
Okay.
So when I met her, I was actually running, but yet wanting her.
Mm-hmm.
But I just knew that it was just someone that I wanted to be with. I knew I was sitting New Year's. I was sitting in Paris, and she was here because I used to do that. I used to get away, and by myself. Dude, it's crazy.
Right. Just go to Paris by yourself. Smoke a cigarette.
With a nice watch on.
Yeah, and eat and have a little coffee. in front of the
There's more salacious than you.
It's like
got all
smoking
pictures.
a cigarette, and he got one of those little hats on, and he's like
some linen. You're wearing linen.
And he's like, wee wee.
But I knew then, she was here, and I just knew then. And so when I got back, it was just, because I was running,
Right.
Okay.
So you were trying to run away from the idea of getting together.
That really. And everything else.
Okay.
But I knew then, and it's been on ever since.
All right, we're going to come back. Okay, what about you, Eugene?
So it was, mine is a little shaky at first, right? Mm-hmm. So I got married, we were together from high school.
Okay.
And we had our first child when we were 23, when I first started the barbershop.
Right.
So when the barbershop first started, and it blew up, it kind of took off.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the year of the Great Migration to Atlanta.
Okay.
Everybody was, talking about going to Atlanta. Atlanta was the new hotspot.
Right.
And, we always grew up in Hartford. It's like, Hartford is so small. We need to get up out of here.
Right.
Nothing here for us. We're young. We need to get our stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And start over. So it's like, okay. So a few of my friends and I made this decision to go. But so right before I left, I got the announcement that, I'm having a baby. So I was like, damn, we can't go.
Right.
And they talk about, so what you mean we can't
go? You
can't go, right? So,
bye.
Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay. So I stayed. But still wasn't ready to become a father. Mm-hmm. I still wasn't ready for the commitment. I still wasn't ready. So I was still like running around. I was young in my 20s. Yeah. I didn't have, like I said, that positive male role model to show you what a father or husband or what that's supposed to look like.
Right.
So I was still running around. So like after the third year, we kind of broke up. Mm-hmm. She was like, we have our child now. Our child is like 3. And it's like, this is not working because you're not who I need you to be in order to become who you should be.
Right.
Right. Because she always saw the potential in me before I did.
Right.
She was like, you're wasting your time.
Women are like that. Why?
Yeah. So we had split up for like a year and a half. And as I'm dating these other women, and it's like, all the women that I'm dating and meeting already have kids. And they're like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. I'm like, well, that didn't sit right with me. Like, how am I going to come
spend time with their kids?
Right. And I got my girl and my baby at home.
Right.
And I always wanted more kids because I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really want kids all over the place.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? No, this ain't going to work. And this was around the time when I got the idea and the notion to start my own business.
Right.
And I'm like, well, this is not going to work. In order for me to structure this correctly, I have to start from the foundation.
That's right.
So then that's when I was like, okay, I need to man up, boss up, or be the man that I need to be in order to become the man that I need to become.
Right. I love it.
I like that.
Yeah, I was I had just finished. I just had kidney failure for the first time, and then I had gotten a kidney, and I was feeling different, So before I had kidney failure, I was the type of person that I didn't even necessarily ever see myself getting married. Like I was just chilling, I like girls a lot,
Yeah.
So I did this. See, you guys are not telling the whole story. You were in Paris doing what? You know what I mean? But so when I got kidney failure is like a stop sign, right? So it's like basically you just go on to dialysis, whatever. I was doing whatever I had to do, and so then when I got my kidney, I felt like okay, I actually was like it's back on and popping. Like that was my mindset. Yeah. It was like, but then I started it. And it was kind of whack. It was like it wasn't hitting the same way for me.
Yeah.
And so I started saying, okay, I'm gonna find a nice girlfriend, And then I met my wife, but she was younger than me. And at the time, I had never dated somebody younger than me. She's pretty younger than me, and I was like, she was too young for me to actually date. I was like, she was like 20 years old. I might have been 28, and I was like, that's too young. So I was like, you know what? If in a year, when she turned 21, if we meet up again and we talk to each other, then we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. And so a year later, she popped back in. She was still around. Yeah. And so we started going out and stuff. And I was in the mode at that time where, like I said, I was dating these other people, and it was like I didn't like any of them. I didn't like the way things were going. But with her, she was just like, she's attractive. She's nice. She kind of was like somebody you could roll with. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, I didn't feel like I needed to wait a long time. So like 2 years later, we got married. We so basically we made a decision. I made the decision we were gonna get married like a year after going like dating, because the next year though we planned the wedding for. If you know my wife, she is a planner.
I got it on tape.
You got our wedding on tape?
Yeah, remember? You don't remember? And I sent it to you.
I gave you the tape. Yeah. But so it was like So it was like basically I feel like it's a powerful thing. I think when men make the decision that they are gonna get married. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think a lot of guys right now, like I watch a lot of young men right now, and they're like holding off on getting married, like they're waiting for something else to happen, or maybe their father wasn't in their life, and so they're saying like, well, my father wasn't there, and it hasn't hit them to say, my father wasn't there, and I don't want the same for my kids. Yeah. I want something better. And so I just felt like, I just said, I was like, she's the one, and I'm just gonna do it. Yeah.
No one wants to be 70 and alone.
Mm-hmm. Not me. Definitely not me.
My wife's a caregiver, so I'm gonna be great. She's a
nurse. Me too.
Oh my God, I'm gonna be perfect. I was like, I picked the right one. She be so. Even when I don't even get sick, but when like my son gets sick, I'm like, man, you lucky, man. You know,
she's doing it up,
doing everything.
So how did you propose, though?
Mine was very simple and easy. I just asked. I didn't. It was at home, and I just asked her,
do you want to marry me?
Want to marry me? Because remember, I think the whole reason why, because I was going to marry her, but she was pregnant. I was like, she was going to get married later because she don't want a big wedding. She's not like that at all. She's like, just get just to the piece, whatever. I'm like, well, we're going to do it before he comes, my son. She, what do you mean? I said, I just want to be, at this time of my life, but I was like, I want to be married to you before we have a son. I don't want to, and I used to tell her, we used to joke like, hey, I'm going to marry you because I'll be around at least 18.
Right, till he's 18.
Yeah. And a lot of times when your marriage gets tested, or your relationship gets tested, if you're not married, most people just leave each other.
Yeah, they be out,
right? So like the marriage part made us like,
it's a contract,
right? Yes. So it's like, let's think about this.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you, because it's an adult move to get married. So like when you get out of it, you got to do some adult things to get out of it. It ain't like I'm just gonna go live over here, you live over here,
right?
So that kind of brought us together as well. But I just knew she was the one because. You kind of mentioned it, but like she was very nurturing, like my mom almost. Like she does a lot of like mom things that kind of annoy me, but it's okay. But it's like she does those things, and I guess that would attract it to me. Every man loves his mom. So.
Yeah. Eugene, what about you? How did you propose?
Well, it was kind of so like I said, I had left. Mm-hmm. And when I got the idea of like, in order to make this work, I need to solidify my foundation. Right. So when I went back, and she was like, well, ain't no coming back to shack up. If you're going to do this, we got to do this completely. Right. And you have to be fully committed. We have to go all the way. So by me going back was my proposal. And that's just kind of how we solidified it and made it work from there.
Okay. What about you?
Mine is it's really funny. 29... Trying to wrap up my, it was my bachelor's degree. We were in a condo on Townley in Willard Street, so on the third floor, beautiful condo. Mm-hmm. And she's coming home. She's in school, and I knew married this woman.
Right.
So I got these, like tea candles.
Oh man, he did it.
He did the big circle. And
yeah.
Oh, you did the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He did the whole thing.
Yeah.
You burned the place down.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, and she waiting. She pulled up, and I'm running downstairs, all excited and nervous at the same time. Running up the stairs, I thought I was gonna die, and but she walked in the house and the condo, more specifically, and she knew what it was. Jumping in the middle of it, and I had some speech at a time.
Yeah. You don't remember the speech?
I know, but it's kind of like
you don't remember the speech?
We love to hear it.
Yeah,
we need some ratings.
Speech, man. We definitely need
some ratings.
We need some.
The young guys need the pointers.
Yeah.
Hey, in that.
So I decided I don't know why I proposed to my wife where I proposed at her.
I think you told me.
We were at the airport.
Yeah, with Dave.
Yeah, I was going to go pick up my boy Dave from the airport. And I had but it was I was very nervous because somebody could say no. Just because you think you got it doesn't mean you got it. Yeah. And so, and I sang a song. I wrote, this is when I was like in a very creative time in my life. So I used to do poetry and all this stuff. So
you got books, man. You know, you got some books in back here.
I was very creative at the time. So I wrote her a song. So I sang her a little song. And then
how'd it go? He's asking you, right?
Yeah.
He remembers.
Oh, I definitely remember. It's a classic. That's a hit. But so I sang her the song, and then you know what? I will say, I think I was also influenced by Dave. My friend Dave had gotten married the year before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we went to Detroit to his wedding. It was funny because Dave, you know, he gets on these things like he'll be like, I'm not cutting my hair until I get married. No. And so he had this big afro. He hadn't shaved in like a year. Wow. So when I rolled up on him, I pulled up on him in Detroit, and I'm like, what is going on with this dude? Because this is before social media and all that stuff. So you wouldn't be seeing him every day. So the last time I saw him, he had waves and a little little beard. And the next time you see him, he's he looks like a homeless person. And it's crazy because he got married in a park in his neighborhood. And he went out and mowed the lawn for the wedding. Sure. He was just doing some wild stuff. But at the wedding, I remember, we went to the wedding, and I was like, I think that influenced me to say, yo, if my friends are starting to get married, I'm not. I mean, and also, like I said, I wasn't on the same stuff that I was prior to before I got sick. So I was like, I'm gonna get married, and so I sang her a song, and that was it.
I didn't know to hear the song.
Hey, give me $50. And I'll sing this song.
50. The price went up. It used to be free. You just do it.
$50.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
So tell me about the first year you were married and the last year you were married.
I said it before. The first year, a lot of people's in everyone's business.
Yes.
For the first year, your family, people don't know what's going on. Why'd you do it? All these things. We didn't have it. Yeah, we had our son, so because he was there too, so we're new to everything.
Right.
And everyone has advice that wasn't around before. It was never, wasn't in the gym shooting with me. Now they got advice about raise my baby.
Right.
Like a bunch of stuff like that. So yeah, that was the first year. Now this year, now later on,
this last year,
it's kind of weird because some people will say, oh, I always know you can do it. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't think that, but they would say that I knew you could always do it. Type of people.
Right.
And also, I'm able to reflect on myself and I don't argue no more. I don't.
Yeah.
So certain things we went through now, I don't go through now because I kind of know you ain't going nowhere, I ain't going nowhere. So I'm just gonna go over here until everything cool.
Right.
And when I was younger, it was like somebody had to be right.
Yeah.
And you can always be right. I always tell you, you're right. I do not care.
Yeah.
That's why you can watch TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So things like that, I learned her better. Mm-hmm. I learned her love language.
Okay.
I learned it. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And as long as I do that, she's golden.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I was young, I think I kind of because of the men, the young men now we're the same age.
Right.
We all come from the same as far as the father figures and people advising us. So then we're advising each other.
Right.
We have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So then, the only way you can do it is you read, become a superhero. Now you read other people's.
Right.
Or you see other people's.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of mold your life the way you want to because you read and you've seen other things.
Right.
Because we don't necessarily get a father figure to be like, yo, do this all that. Like, man, my dad, he was here the whole time. I could just watch him. I had to go read and do other things and figure it out myself. But
and it's 18. Your son's 18 right now.
18.
So you're not out. You're not packing up. You're gonna stay in there for some more years.
Oh yeah, we're good now.
Good money.
Good money. Now it's exciting. Because he get to leave.
He's about to be out.
He don't even be around. Like, you can leave, man. You don't got to come back. You can go hang out. So that's good.
Yeah.
You can become a man now.
That's good. So who's next? How was the first year and the last year?
rocky.
Yeah.
The first year was kind of rocky.
Yeah.
Just figuring it out. The expectation, or so when you put a label on something, that defines whatever it is you put the label on.
Right.
So, what does this definition mean? Okay, so you're no longer a boyfriend, you're no longer a single man, you're now a married man or a husband.
Right.
So, what does that? What is the definition of
what
that
does
term?
it mean
What
to
does
do
it
that?
mean
Yes.
to do that?
Yeah.
So the first year was kind of rough and rocky because I'm still in transition. Like I said, I'm a 23-year-old man now.
Mm-hmm.
Still not fully in the moment, right? And I'm still trying to run my business, so I had a lot of things going at one time, so it wasn't really fully here in the moment at the time, and so the first year was kind of rocky, but we worked through it, and communication. That is the biggest thing that I took away from it. So for the young listeners, like you said, people that's in year one, the best piece of advice is, like Zoe said, learn that love language and learn how to communicate.
Right.
Because a lot of things that transpire are stuff that aren't even real.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have something perceived in our head about what happened, and we'll take action based off of those false perceptions of what we perceive it to be.
Right.
Instead of talking to the individual and working it out or seeing exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So for me, it was learning that level of communication.
Right. Yeah. Communication. So tell us about the last year.
The last year is good now because we have that communication.
Okay.
So it's like, we speak without even speaking now.
Okay.
Because we know each other, and we've been.
She can throw you an alley oop, and you're gonna dunk.
So
that alley oop the other night, the joint where, what's his name? What's the white dude for Dallas?
Luca
sent it to he passed it from the floor to Kyrie, and then Kyrie just throws it up. The other guy comes up. I don't know who the other guy was.
Yeah, I mean, I know he is gonna dunk.
Yeah, it was dope.
You're up. First year.
So it's kind of skewed for me, right? Because the first year, amazing, great. Like I'm excited to offer whatever I am to you, and vice versa. I'm excited to learn you.
Mm-hmm.
So those are great. Two young people, beautiful,
clarification. It's a good clarification.
Yeah.
When you got married, you were 29.
Yes.
Okay. So the age, because you were 23,
23, 24.
You were 23.
No, when I got married, at I was 27.
27.
Okay, 27.
Now,
24.
just a point of reference, right? When we talk about the manhood tree, right? Being between 20 and 30, we look at it as young adulthood.
Yes.
So there is something about being a young adult. Yeah. There's a difference between a young adult and a man.
Yeah. Yes.
So just to give it that little piece. So 20, 23, 24, 27, even 30, 29, 30, it's just getting at the beginning of manhood. So go ahead. That's a good point out.
So I was, we both were eager. So it was bliss, man. Trying to get my life, in order, and so it was great. And now I'm propelled to. Now keep in mind, a lot have transpired between then, but the first year, second year, third, like all of those, right?
So you were on a high. You were going high. And then all of a sudden, there was a wall somewhere where you hit it. Yeah. And you had to work through all that stuff.
So you're propelled to how many years now, right? And
yeah.
Again, the excitement, all of that stuff is there, but now it's, I know you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's different. It's coming from a different, because marriage is a beautiful thing. I love marriage. I would never, ever not want to be married to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's a lot of things that come with it. Perfect example. This would be better to assess this your inquiry. Yeah. Right? Getting married, first, my wife is white.
Mm-hmm.
So the first year.
Yeah.
So my wife was upset about it all the time. We go down south, my people, her people. It was crazy.
Yeah. She was upset about some black stuff?
Everything. Like, come on.
She
was like,
the
us being together, are you kidding me?
Oh.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, friends.
Oh, you mean everybody else?
Perception of them
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Dealing with that. Yeah.
It was
Oh,
horrible.
yeah.
So now she wanted to talk. She wanted to talk to everybody.
Right.
What are you looking at? Like,
Oh yeah.
then.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
from the
you're
outside,
probably cool with it. She's just
It's
used
not
to it.
even
She gotta
cool.
get
I
used
just
to it.
already know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the first time she's
You know,
experiencing it.
and then from that first year to now, you know, it's still there.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't it?
More.
Society hasn't changed a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Really?
A little bit, maybe.
I was just gonna say every commercial I see on TV has a black and white couple now. I mean, damn,
Trying to make
it's okay, guys.
I mean,
Hey,
In theory.
love who you love.
Yeah.
no, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
But now it's a change,
I mean,
you know. But for our life, because I mean, there's a lot transpired.
Yeah.
And again, my approach at this, the place I was, is different. You know, like I never had a mom and dad, and we're moving to something else, and I apologize for it.
No, go
So
ahead.
my thought process is a little different. You know, it's going into this.
Right.
I never had mom. I had a mom and dad, but never mom and dad around. The figure mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I was raised by my sisters.
Right.
You know, so like me wanting to have my own, I always wanted to do that.
Right.
You know,
Do it
so
the
like,
right way.
So when I went into this, that's what, and she would say it to this day. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
I'm getting out of this gang.
We got a few more questions. So this is the thing. When I first got married, the first year, my idea of what marriage was, I would compare it to 1960s family.
Huxtables or
Not the Huxtables, some whoever you want to be in the 1960s. Where when I come home, I'm getting some dinner,
fair enough.
and I'm making all the decisions, and you're going along for the ride. Whatever
You welcome.
I'm driving this car, and you can sit in the back.
How did that work out?
It was working out for me just fine. Thing is, so I think that, like you said, things happen in the middle. So we're talking about the beginning and the end, but I think that over the 20 years, what I learned more than the love language, what I learned was about respect. I learned about the respect that I like I respect my wife in a totally different way now than I did then. It wasn't like I was disrespectful for her, but I think I just had I had these concepts of manhood, of fatherhood, of husbandhood, and I just was like, this is how it is. And I did grow up with my parents, but my parents are from the 1960 time, and so when I was a kid, my mom cooked dinner every day. When I was a kid, my mom took care of the kids, and so I think that was what I was on.
Yeah.
But my wife has her doctorate degree. My wife's very smart. She's extremely intelligent. We probably wouldn't be in business right now if it weren't for her. But it was like I had to get to the point where my male chauvinist attitude, the way that I believe things, I had to expand my way of thinking. And I think that the last year has been much better, I think, because of the fact of now it's not like I think that I used to be like, this is me and this is my wife. But now I don't even know if me and my wife are on the same level. It's probably more like this is my wife and this is me, or maybe I'm like right here. But it's like I respect her more and I have a better understanding. So and I think that men I think one of the things that you and Zoe talked about that I don't think we have enough conversations.
No, we don't.
As men about what it is like to be married, what it is like so when somebody who maybe their parents were married, like you said, they can't see something every day, then they don't know they're starting from scratch on being married. Yeah. And they're making up their way of doing it on the fly.
It's not all negative, and what you're saying is very, very right.
My wife still cooks dinner every day.
that's beautiful because
I clean though. I'm a cleaner.
Yes.
I don't mind cleaning.
I do the things
I do complain when I'm cleaning though. I'll be like, clean. I'll be like,
oh, you're one of those guys.
And I'll be like, God damn, she can't help out brother while he cleaning the damn house. She made dinner yesterday. What about today?
Well, there's so many leftovers left in the refrigerator anyways. Right?
I put all that stuff in the dishwasher.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, so speaking of so we talked about the ends, like the breads on each end of the sandwich. Talk about the middle. What's the if you could think back on the most difficult thing you experienced through your marriage, And how do you get past it?
Now I'll go first because it was like I was saying, and it's everything is in between, right?
Right.
It's not when you start the company or like the end, right? It's everything in between, right?
It's the meat. Give me the meat.
You know,
what happened?
So I had to, and part of me healing myself,
Mm-hmm.
I never lived with my dad.
Right.
So I moved my dad in.
Oh wow.
To my house.
Wow.
To our house, right?
Yeah.
Stand corrected. And he's, he had some issues with drinking and stuff. And for a few, 3 years, it was horrible. My wife's home, pregnant. You know, I'm 12 hours, 13 hours away from that. This is when I was telling you about working for that company.
Yeah.
So never home. Missed a lot.
Right.
And that was this was 3 years of just, we're connected. We were like, she knows exactly what I'm thinking. Now she's home with a baby.
Right.
And this person is not making it easy for her. Mm-hmm. So those time frames. And, the thing is too, it's like, great, forever respectful, and I love that.
Yeah.
But, it's like.
Family makes it hard, though. like that, those little, that's like a little nuance, right? You're trying to do the right thing for your dad. But you bring that into your house, it's a little bit.
It was
different.
a lot to ask anyone to, and I don't want to go into detail.
Yeah.
It was a lot to ask anyone, but that was, but that helped us,
right?
And now you just have a blank. Anyone can come stay. You just have to deal with it.
She's gonna deal with it. What about you?
What's the question?
The meat. We're talking about what's the most difficult thing you went through as a married couple, and how did you get past it?
So the most difficult thing that I got through was when you marry a person, you're not only marrying them, but you're marrying their history, their childhood trauma, how they were raised, and what they're bringing to the situation now.
Right.
So the biggest thing was working through our childhood trauma, right? Because everybody has childhood trauma, especially in our culture, the way we grow up and the way our society is and just the way our communities are, right, to some degree. And one thing that is never talked about in our culture, our community, is counseling.
That's right.
Come to my people. As you were saying, like the stages of development, like for men, it goes from 0 to 8, from 8 to 16, from 16 to 25, and from 25 to 32.
Yeah.
And each stage requires different information in order for us to develop properly into our manhood.
Right.
So the biggest thing for me in my marriage was adjusting and having my wife make those adjustments with me. Like through each stage, like, okay, I am presenting myself new now. And don't look at me as what I was last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
Like understand, follow me in my progressions as I get better, and just deal with me now. Like I said,
forget about the past.
Personal development, as I grow and develop, keep track with me.
Right.
Situations come up, arguments come up. Don't say, "Oh, that's what you used to do." Okay, now
that's over with.
That's over with.
Yeah,
it's over with. So the biggest part was those adjustments and those keeping up on those checkpoints.
So you still on air?
I'm trying to. He's not on air. I'm using all the cameras, but you see, he's still getting on. Don't worry, I'll figure it all out.
You're off air? You want to put him on my camera?
He's on. I got him on when he's on. When he talks, he's on. Like I'm talking now, so I'm on.
Okay.
I got him.
All right. Go ahead.
Not any video. It's any video.
Mine's real quick.
I didn't charge that. That's why.
Mine's real quick, so we can move the camera back over. This is one of the longest shows ever. That's why. That's all.
I know. We're going on hard body today.
We got a couple more people. Joaquin said, "What's your cash app?" And used for the song. So he said, "Mr. Cash App."
My cash app. Well, let me get that with my phone. I'll sing the song for $50.
$50. Mr. Cash App.
My cash app is Go ahead, tell us your story while I look up my cash app.
The story was most difficult time.
Yeah,
I believe it's similar to his. Gene, Supreme, Eugenius. You don't tell your name; they call him Eugenius, right? You know that?
Yes, I know that. I'm hip to what's going on in the community.
But mine's similar too. People just being in the business, man, and then trying to navigate that. And then, like you said, after time, we know each other.
Yeah.
So it's like certain things people tell me, like, no. Right? So when you're young, you don't know each other because you hear all these other things that how these people are, whatever. But over time, you realize that's not my wife. You can't do that because you know each other. So like the being together kind of helped us be stronger.
Yes.
But normally people break up at a certain age because of other people when
outside
it's not even right. It's not even true. Or he didn't stick it out.
Or that person is no longer who they know.
Yeah. Yeah, because people do change.
We do.
Yes.
We all change. That's supposed to be the goal. We're supposed to develop and grow.
You should want to grow together.
And you can't condemn me to something that I've done or something that happened when I was going through stages of development because I didn't know.
That's right.
You know? But I understand and I know now, and you got to grow with me. And a lot of people grow. So it's either you're going to grow together or you're going to grow apart.
So my cash up is $ARI Muhammad. As soon as I get the money, I start singing. $ARI Muhammad. $50. I'm singing, baby. The most difficult thing I went through, I think my attitude. Like, I mean, just me. It's like I was the problem because of my mindset. My mindset was I'm a very it was kind of like, this is the way I'm going to do stuff. And you're like coming with me for this ride. Yeah. And sometimes I didn't necessarily think about, do you want to take the ride? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm taking the ride. We start the business. We work together every day. So we spend more time together than most couples do. Okay. So I think even that, when, we were at work and, we might be at a meeting like this, she might say an idea and I'd be like, nah. we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So it's like, and then so the being able to balance, we leave work and then we might have an argument at home. We gotta work together all day, and then we gotta go. So it's just, we never argue dirty, because we usually just get quiet. But I think that just being together so much and I think that at the time, it's like, what it really was. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The fear of getting hurt from somebody is always lingering in the background. You say, you think about everything you've done to people, all the lies you've told, all the cheating you've done, and it's like you're always thinking somebody's gonna get you back, and she's the only one that can get you back, and so you always in that protection mode. The biggest thing that I had to learn was that I can't treat her like everybody else. I can't. She's either with me or she's not with me.
Yes.
And I had to get to really get to that. Where it's like, yo, if at this point, 20 years in the game, she's gonna go do some of the most diabolical stuff ever, then I'm screwed because I really gotta give her 100% of myself. And I think that for a long time, to just be honest, I was holding some of it back.
Yeah.
Just in case.
A lot of us do.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of us do.
Just holding it back.
Because that's how we were raised. Don't show all your emotions. Hold some back. Don't be vulnerable.
Don't be vulnerable.
All that stuff that we are taught as men that are not true, that are not serving us.
It's not helping
as we grow and become adults.
All right, we're getting close to wrap up. I got one last question. This is a quick one right here. What advice would you give to a young man who's he's on the fence? Maybe he's been dating this girl for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and he's like, yo, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to make this next step. What advice would you give to him about being married and staying married for the long haul and having a good marriage? Not just being married and doing all types of wild stuff, but being married and having a happy marriage. What would you say to a young man that is listening right now that wants to make that next step?
I would say before you make that step, go to counseling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking too.
Go to counseling. Know who you are
Start
first.
with counseling.
Yes, because when you go to counseling, you're going to know who you are. All right. And when you know who you are, you're going to develop your standards. You're going to develop your boundaries. And that's going to give your partner time to do that. So when y'all come together, y'all will have an idea before y'all get married to try to figure it out. Figure this stuff out before you get married. If this is going to work.
Deal with the trauma, all of that stuff. Put it all on the table.
Where you came from and where you're going. Because y'all might not have the same congruent picture. Right. And, a lot of people get into it and say, we're going to figure it out on the way. Yeah. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in today's world, with all of the information readily available,
yeah,
and with all of the examples we have now due to social media, like before, a lot of these examples we didn't see
right.
because we didn't have access to everybody's lives like we do now.
Yeah,
so being with social media and all this information,
mm-hmm.
we've seen all of the ways that it can work and all the ways that it can't work.
Yeah.
So my advice would be to go to therapy first, know who you are.
Yep.
Come up with where you've been,
mm-hmm.
where you're going, set your boundaries, and talk to the individual you're thinking about making that journey with, and make sure y'all both are on the same path and accord, and then move forward.
Move forward. What you got?
Move accordingly.
What do you have?
I mean, I'll agree with that, and I'll add, you have to make sure that the person that you're deciding to marry, that you're willing to do whatever it is to make that person happy on an everyday basis. That's important.
Every day. Bang. I like that.
If you're not working on your business, it's not growing.
It's not growing. Right, you have to get...
Same thing with the marriage.
Yes.
Got it.
Marriage is a business.
It is a business.
It is a business.
So what you got?
You gotta go. It's because I gotta use this camera, so you gotta go.
Yeah, my advice would be, would be to like try to like have some dreams together. Like to like really try to come together and be like, sit down and think about what you want your future to be. Like right at the beginning, instead of like going with the flow. I think some people would just be like, let's just go with the flow. You know? Yeah. But I'm kind of like, yo, let's dream together. Let's we want to travel. Like me and my wife, we travel out the country together. We started talking about that before we traveled out of the country, right? So I want to start thinking about the things that you want to accomplish together. There's nothing that I have done in my life since I've been married that she didn't have her hands on. You know, I get a lot of credit for my people, right? People will say, oh, my people. I said, Abdul. But if you work at my people, you know that Deshell is the person that gets a lot of things going. And so I think that just like really be on the same page with your dreams. Be on the same page on what you want to be able to accomplish. And like almost have goals for your life together. You know, we want to get a house. We want to have this many children. We want to go to these places. We want to experience these things together. Put it on paper so that 20 years later you can look and say, like, look at what we did, man. We said we wanted to do that, and we actually did it. That would be a powerful thing.
I'm going to say people, most men probably won't like what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
Don't touch her, man, for like 8 to 10 months. Don't be intimate.
Before or after?
Don't when you first just be before. Just be intimate. Don't be intimate.
You agree with that?
Yes. Because you know why?
Why?
Because
you get to learn the person, get to understand them.
Yes, you will do. How about this? Before any man, before any man gets any, he treats her totally different than when he does it.
Yeah, that's right. True.
So let me find out that we cool, because I'll know. I'm still around you. I want to know. So, cause, I mean, I did that, but I wasn't by choice. Yeah. Right?
Why wasn't it by choice?
That was just how my wife was. She was like, no, I had to wait for like 10 months, 12 months. Right?
Sex distorts things.
But that made me want to be more. I learned more about her. I learned what she do, because I was invested.
You were invested.
Invested. And then at the end, everything I thought it was, we're good. But that's tough to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Because especially nowadays,
right.
Sukiyana, and all that stuff.
Busting it open.
Yeah, all that stuff too crazy now. But I think that'll be good. Even if you were pre other people and you guys get together, if you're not doing therapy or anything like that, that's something too. Because you're kind of not.
I like it.
You're kind of not most people. It's all impulsive.
Yeah.
Let's get married. Let's do this. All impulsive.
Right.
So it's sexual. That's impulsive. You stop yourself from doing that. You got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So
like
that's a good one, but probably not a popular one.
All right, we're in the wrap up. Just give you guys a quick beard update. My beard is fucking amazing. It's amazing, guys. I don't know where we started with this thing, but guys, if you don't know what a beard looks like, look at this big puffy thing I got on my face. 156-day workout challenge. So what day are you on?
I do like 18 days.
18's a month?
Okay. Take off the weekend.
Next week I need an actual number. Just in case you guys want to join, are you on a number? Because I know you like to send every now and then. You'll send us a video.
What is this? What is this?
We're trying to get men to work out 156 days out of this year, basically. 30 minutes.
So what's that, like half?
30 minutes.
It's
30 minutes.
It's like 3 months.
It's about 3 months out of it. It's
individual session or is this a group session? How are we doing this?
Well, this Saturday, just in case you're not.
I'm a little over 50, by the way. A little over 50.
You're over 50?
I'll get the exact number.
So basically, there's a group of people that have been doing it since the beginning of the year. Okay. Some people are like already in their 90s because they work out every day. Somebody like me, I'm in my mid 30s right now,
and I work out like a regular person, so I'm every day.
Yeah.
Some people got 90, so some people aren't regular. Yeah, regular. I go regular every day, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Some people work 7 or 8 days a week.
Right.
We're not going to say any names, but it's Demetrius.
That's right.
It's only Demetrius. But yeah, but you still it's still 156 days. You could get it in right now. You could join in right now. You got plenty of time. We still got we still got tons of days left in this year.
Yeah, we only 4 months in.
But we are having Brotherhood Yoga on Saturday.
Where's that at?
It's going to be at Joaquin's studio. Where's
Main
that?
Street in Manchester.
Main Street in Manchester.
I want to say it's 420. I don't know why I think that's the date.
That's the date. The date is 420. We know why you know that.
Yeah.
Joe has a problem, so 420 he's like really looking forward to it. But at 12 o'clock, you got the flyer up.
I am about to. I'll put it on my phone, but
at 12 o'clock from 12 to 2 we'll be doing some Brotherhood Yoga. We have last time we had 4 black yogis lead the workout, and so if you're not doing anything, come through. It's open, it's free.
52 Main Street.
52 Main Street in Manchester, Connecticut. It's open to all men if you want to come. Men's Health is Community Health. I don't have any updates for that. Nope. Okay. Any manhood issue did this week? We got 2 things and we're out of here.
Well, the perfect one was why I was late. That was my kid had to meet with a counselor.
Nice. That is high level manhood.
Yeah, it is definitely.
What you got? What did you got, Joe?
What is manhood-ish?
Manhood stuff.
Yeah.
Something you did. It could be a variety of things.
You took out the garbage. I don't know.
Whatever you think it is.
What I do this week?
Yeah.
I ended Ramadan.
Fair enough.
That's good.
Bang bang.
You fasted.
Bang bang. Food gang.
You fasted for the month of Ramadan. You wrapped up another
5th year.
5th year of fasting.
Feel great.
Next year you're gonna read the Quran.
I'm gonna go to some Fridays too.
You're gonna come to the masjid and pray. Good. We're gonna get you to paradise, brother. We're gonna get there, man. You got something?
Working on the completion of my mentoring career coaching.
Okay. Tell us about that.
So, in this
6-figure blueprint.
Yeah, it's the 6-figure blueprint.
Okay.
So in my journey of my grooming business, and like I said, watching a lot of young individuals grow,
right,
and I realized that a lot of young people don't have the example of what a man is.
Yes.
In our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So I developed a coaching and a mentoring program.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You should come back and talk about that another time.
Yes.
We can dedicate some time to that.
Yes, I would love to.
My manhood ish I did this week. Let's see. Did I do anything this week in the last 7 days? I'm sure I did something. You know what I did? I let my son put out all the mulch this year. Me and my son had an argument about it. So first of all, the reason why he had to do all the mulch is because he broke his curfew. So he was supposed to. His curfew was 11 o'clock. I was in there about 11:45, and so I used that as an opportunity to get him to clean his room, and then I had him put out the mulch. And then I had to remind him that my son is 17 years old. For the first 15 years of his life, I put all the mulch out by myself. And so the fact that he's a young, strong man, I feel like there comes a time to pass the torch.
Yes.
And today, this week, and the funny thing is, Unlike me, I'm out there doing it by myself. He called 4 of his friends, and they banged that stuff out. It was just like bang, 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 done. And I'm out there for hours, like. And so, sometimes as a man, you got to be able to pass the buck, man. I'll pass the buck over to the young buck, let him do his thing.
That's the premise of my mentoring program.
Okay.
Pass the buck to these young individuals because they need guidance, they need direction, and they're looking for it and they want it.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of people are trying to become independently wealthy now.
Yes.
Because a lot of people aren't going to college or the school route.
Yeah.
So
give them some other options.
Yeah.
I love it.
I want it.
A little brotherly advice before we go. Just a little advice you got for the brothers out there that help them get through their week. Anything you want to tell them? We'll start with you, Eugene.
Brotherly advice?
Yeah.
With the dream, hard work, and dedication, anything you want, you can have.
Love that one. Berthel, what you got?
I think you need to pick 2 people that inspire you. Yeah. 2 people this week.
People locally, like right around here.
That you see every day, that you can talk to.
Yes.
That's doing something that you're interested in and want to do. Pick 2 people.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
Get
as much information from them as possible.
I love that one. What you guys know?
Let me flip the camera around. Eat better. Everyone eat better. Everyone eat better. All right? Eat better.
Yeah.
It's your life.
It's your life.
It's your life.
And my brotherly advice for everybody listening is forgive yourself. Yeah. Whatever you sometimes we do things like eat bad or we don't feel motivated. We feel like we're a bad person. I'm going to say that today is the day that we're going to forgive ourselves. Whatever you did, whatever you feel like you did, whatever experience you've had, starting tomorrow morning when you wake up, you got a tabula rasa, clean slate. You're free. You're free from all of the negativity that you've had in your life, and you got a new life ahead of you. Every day going forward is new. And so let everything else go. Forgive yourself. And never stop dreaming. We'll see you guys next week. You want to show your watch? You got something fancy over there?
No, just a nice little. I like your
yeah. See,
he brought it through today.
I know he might notice.
Excuse me.
Does anybody need to know what time it is? All right, it's time for us to go. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Actually, we're not going to be